Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about lessons learned, kind of stuff like that. But first, I want to do a quick shout out to YouTuber GoldenEye. GoldenEye has been watching my videos for quite some time. I believe he said 16 years. And at my last live feed, he donated to the channel $200, which I quickly used to purchase the keyboard and mouse that were missing from this Macintosh 512 that Amelia bought me. So thank you, GoldenEye, for your contribution, your generous contribution. It has gone to good use. I was going to buy these from my own money, but one of you guys stepped up to the plate and decided that you wanted to make those contributions to the channel. And again, I thank you once again. And for future reference, I generally do not solicit donations for this channel. I don't need to. I'm in a very fortunate position. But I do appreciate when others, decide to contribute, and that's really all there is to that. But once again, I do not do this. I do not make these videos to make money. I do not make these videos to solicit donations from my viewers, but I do appreciate what GoldenEye has contributed once again. So thank you. Thank you, GoldenEye. These are the correct keyboard and mouse for this model. This is the M0110, which was equipped with the 512 as well as the 128. And as we figured out, this in fact is a Mac 128 that has been upgraded several times with many different replacement parts. In fact, this is like the 200-year-old hammer. At this point, it's had 4 handle replacements and 2 head replacements. If you don't get the joke, well, anyway. That having been said, I have been having a hell of a time with this machine so far. Let's go ahead and boot it up, shall we? So, we'll boot it up. And I'm going to tell you my tale of woe. So the disk that I have in this machine right now took me 2 days to create and cost me about $60. No, $34 to make. $34 because I ordered a boot disk for this machine after several failed attempts. Because I have forgotten how to make a boot disk for an old world Mac. That's what this is. It's considered an old world Mac. Now I want to try something real quick because it's been kind of flaky with the expansion board. Sometimes it boots up. I think I got it just right, but sometimes you get the jail bars. Sometimes, let's see if it does it. No, it seems to be pretty consistent now, but I have reseated it. And I've used a little bit of deoxit to clean the terminals where it clips over the existing RAM chips. But let's just let it run for a little bit. Now, because I forgot the process for creating disks by Brandon Bishop. No, I was doing it all wrong. So what I was doing was downloading the images, opening them up in disk copy on the Mac OS 9 machine. Now, a little bit of background. You cannot use, or you can't read or write an 800K disk on a New World Mac with a modern USB floppy drive. It cannot be done. And I say not New World, but the G3s and above, they don't really work well. Running Mac OS 9, they really don't like to work with those old 800K disks. They don't know what to do with them. Because those disks are made with a multi-speed drive that just doesn't quite work on a modern day, I say modern day, but a newer 1.44 meg drive. They just don't read or write. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It seems to be pretty consistent that they don't. So to make an 800K disk or even a 400K, we'll get to there in a minute, you need an old world Mac like this one. I'm using my Mac Classic, which is dying. It needs a analog board recap like there's no tomorrow. It is acting up. Every time the floppy drive is activated or accessed, the screen dims a little bit and you can hear the fan slow down. So we need to do some work to this one, but that's besides the point. So I was taking those files, putting them onto a 1.44 meg disk, shuttling them over, copying the files to the hard drive, taking a clean 800K disk like this one here, and I got one like this one here, taking those files off, formatting the disk as a 400K, mind you, and then copying the system files to the 400K disk and shuttling them back to here, finding out that it doesn't work. So why 400K? Well, I was under the impression that I had the old ROMs on this machine. I believed it. I believed it 100%. That they made all the upgrades on this except for the ROM chips. So they put an 800K drive in there. They put in a Mac 512K board, and for whatever reason, I felt that they didn't do the ROM chips. What I did was and the reason the ROM version matters. So you have the old 64K ROM, which is in the 128 and the 512. And then you've got the 128K ROM, not to be confused with the memory capacity in the original Mac. So 128K ROM versus 64K ROM. I went and I ordered... Oh, go back a little bit. So in order to use an 800K drive as an 800K drive, you need to have the 128K ROM. Full stop. It's required. So I went and I ordered a set of the high or upper and lower ROM chips, the high and low ROM chips. You can buy these on eBay. There are people out there with EEPROM burners that are making these chips and selling them. And the price is pretty reasonable, about $30 or so. And I figured, all right, that's going to fix my problem. And I'll be able to read 800K disks. Right? You with me so far? That was the idea. So I put those new ROM chips in. I made a copy of Mac OS 5, copied it to the floppy disk. Boom, boom. Still doesn't work. There's another aspect to this as well. In order to read an 800K disk, you must have an operating system that supports it. Which explains why when I started up Mac Paint, which is running Mac OS 1.1, I believe, I take this out, I put an 800K disk in, and it doesn't know what to do with it. It's coming up as a blank 400K disk. All right, so the ROM chips come in, I install them, still same problem. Only it introduced a new issue. All of a sudden, the Mac Snapboard from Dove Computing no longer functions. It will not boot. It just jailbars immediately with these new ROM chips. It does not work. So I take the Mac Snap out, boot it up in Mac Paint. System's running fine. Starts erroring. So if I put another disk in, now it's giving me error code. It's like, didn't do that before. So it's actually crashing more. I turn it on and I get a checkerboard pattern, which it didn't do before. without the rack. Let's see what it does now. If I warm it up a bit. No, it's booting right up. Okay, good. So things are going fine. So I then realized I did some deep thought, and I'm like, wait a minute. And a little bit of Googling, and there was some suggestions, some good suggestions on the Mac Enthusiast forum on Facebook. I need to use disk copy, not on this, but on this. So I've got to take the disk images, shuttle them back here, extract them directly to a floppy disk, the correct floppy disk. But once again, it requires, so the utility I'm using, disk copy 4.2, doesn't work on 400K disks. It works on 800K disks. So we're back to, okay, why are my 800K disks not working? So I went and I created a couple of good usable copies of macOS 5.1, and I tried a macOS 1.1, but the problem with that is it's kind of a chicken before the egg. macOS 1.1 doesn't work on 800K diskettes. So that's not going to happen. Okay. So I'm thinking. Now, meanwhile, I've got the new ROM chips in here. Thinking I got the best ROM. I got the best ROM chips ever made. And they're from China. So I got the best ever ROM chips ever made, and they're the newest version, and what the hell could be going wrong? So I take the motherboard out, I look at the ROM chips on there, and then I happen to glance over on my bench where I had placed the old ROM chips. I knew for some reason I'm going to need these someday for something. So I put them aside, and I look at the date on the chips. I just glanced over. Copyright 1986? Wait a minute. What's going on here? This machine actually had the 128K ROM chips. Oh, and it gets better. So I put those 128K ROM chips, and look at this. Look at this. Oh, you fucking slime ball. There it goes. So here we go. Take a look at the startup dialog box. The welcome to Macintosh. On the old ROM chips, okay, there is a drop box around this. It doesn't look like this. There's a drop box below it. And I noticed with the new ROM chips, there's a drop box. And I got to thinking, wait a minute. Did I just pay money, actual cold hard cash for the old ROM chips? Huh. It doesn't boot from an 800K disk, and it's still... So, I put the old ROM chips back in. I threw the RAM expansion, which, by the way, gives this machine a whopping 2 megabytes of RAM. Look at that. By the way, this is Mac OS 1.1. Finder version 5.3, by the way. Yeah, Finder 5.3. This is OS 1.1, by the way. Okay, this is what Mac OS 1.1 looks like, by the way. Now, let me just take a little sidebar. Let's take a little journey and take a look at what Mac OS 10 what are we on? 15.5. This is what Mac OS 15.5 looks like. For those of you who have never seen them side by side, this is 15.5. This is the current version of Mac OS. This is the first version of Mac OS from 1980. Well, this is what Mac OS 1.1, Finder 1.1 kind of looks like. This is a slightly newer version, but you can see the lineage. Now, you take a Windows 3.1 machine and stick it next to, a Windows 95 machine. This is why Mac OS, by the way, wins so many accolades for usability, because they don't reinvent the wheel every time they release a new version of Mac OS. Funny thought that is. Anyway, so here's the thing. Here it is, the thing. Where's that disk? So this is 1.1. I have a newer one here that I made. It's here somewhere. Oh, it's right here. I'm going to let's do a quick power check. Yeah, I think it's all right. So I put the old ROMs back in, and then I grabbed the disk that I made. Booted right up. Nah, it wasn't that disk. There's another one kicking around. But it booted right up. So that one's... All right, let's put that one aside. There is a good one here. That's 5 point something. Here it is. This is Mac OS. I grabbed it from this image here. This is Mac OS 5.1. Finder 60 something, I think. But anyway, look at her go. So... I got screwed, man. I got screwed. These are the wrong ROMs. I had the right ROMs. Say that 5 times fast. So what have we learned? Number one, know your shit. Know what you've got, because you may have what you're looking for the whole time. It could be right under your nose. So what do we got? We got Finder 6, System 4.3. And that was System 1. Fine. This is 1 year newer. But we're up and going, and it's running fine. And the mouse is good, and the keyboard is great, and everything's... I'm going to retrobrite the keyboard and the mouse in a small batch, a private batch. So we're going to retrobrite these pieces, and we're gonna make it great. So I thank you all for your support and your guidance and wisdom, and she's a good runner, guys. This is a machine that sat in a metal container in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire, basically by a river. There was a river running behind the metal tank, or big sea container. You know what those are? Those big, giant intermodal containers. They use them for shipping. Well, that's what it was sitting in for many, many years. And it was just getting ruined, and we were able to save it. I mean, this is a huge improvement. The battery box, I found the little metal tab that broke off. I'm going to repair that. It's running pretty good, I would say. I'm going to do some geometry correction. I think it's a little bit too stretched out, so I'm going to bring that in a little bit, which means I got to take the back off. I could do that anyway. But yeah, I think she's a good runner, and I'm going to get a battery for it as well. Probably not going to use the original battery holder. No, I'm going to do that because, of course, I am. She's a runner, guys. Perfect screen. Perfect. I mean, there's a little bit of burn-in, but it's 40 years old. It's going to have some burn-in. I believe the only original parts to this are the shell, the tube, and the chassis frame. That's it. Everything else has been replaced. It literally is the 200-year-old hammer. But the newest components that are in here are also 35 years old. So you got to, let's account for that. But yeah, this is good stuff. Now, let me try one thing. Okay? Let me try one little thing here. And this is going to be a very important test. I'm going to label this, put a marker on here. We're going to label that, but I do have a copy of Apache Strike somewhere on this mess. And I want to see if it runs it. There it is. Apache Strike, it's on an 800K diskette. By the way, before the days of hard drives, this is how we rolled. I think now the real version of that is bootable. So I'm going to actually create a bootable image of that. It's meant to run by itself. This is how we rolled before hard drives. Any of you remember that? I know I do. Actually, no. What I need right now is an external 800K drive so that I don't have to play the disk shuffle. But yeah, I will make a bootable image of Apache Strike. It likes to run by itself. The game is known for not running on a running system. This version is slightly newer than the one I'm used to. Just FYI. But I've got to post an essay on the forums because I learned so many lessons today, and people were trying to help, and I can't help but thank them for that. You'd think there'd be enough memory to just load everything in. There we go. All right. Just appreciate that for a moment. This game is actually a lot of fun.
All systems go.
Oh, wow, the voice prompts work too. I think I heard that they wouldn't work in a 512, but they do with the right amount of memory. So this will run in 512K, but with more memory, it will do the voice commands, the voice prompts. Now you can turn carefully. This game is kind of a frustrating mess to play. I forget how to turn. I think I have to turn a little bit harder.
All systems go.
I don't have a lot of mouse movement. Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta change the mouse response speed. Oh man. But we went from 0 to this in some time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.